Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start our next chapter. And if you remember last week when I read, Amy went to the board meeting to go speak about why she was upset that her book was being banned and to say why she liked the book. And she kind of chickened out and she didn't say anything. So she was feeling pretty bad because her dad had made all these arrangements to take her and then she didn't do it. So her dad was kind of upset. So the chapter is Mixed Up Mrs. Frankfurter. In the car on the way home, I pulled the piece of paper out of my pocket and unfolded it. At the top I had written, "Why, from the Mixed Up Files of Mrs. Basil E. Frankweiler, is my favorite book." What I had written below, that wasn't long, but it had taken me a long time to do it. How do you say why you like a thing? You can point to all the good parts, that you like how they ran away from home to a museum, that you like how Claudia packed her clothes in her empty violin case, that they slept in a big antique bed and took baths in a fountain, that they solve a mystery about an old statue. I like all that stuff about From the Mixed Up Files. But none of those is really the reason I read it 13 times and still want to read it again. That's something bigger, deeper, more than all those things added together. How do you explain to someone else why a thing matters to you if it doesn't matter to them? How can you put into words how a book slips inside of you and becomes a part of you so much that your life feels empty without it? Is that your speech? Dad asked. Why didn't you read it? Darn, Amy Ann. I thought that was the whole reason we came all the way out here tonight. The whole reason we rearranged everybody's schedules. Your mother and I have a lot better things to do with our time. Hot tears poured down my cheeks and I turned away so Dad couldn't see. I tried to swallow a quiet sob, but Dad heard me. Are you crying? Oh, Amy Ann, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. I know how hard it is for you to speak up. He pulled a bright red bandana out of his pocket and handed it to me. Here, what's the book? I shook my head. I couldn't look at him. I was still crying. Come on. Is it Mixed Up Mrs. Frankfurter or something? He was trying to get me to laugh, but I was too upset. He was right. Everybody had changed their plans for me, and we'd come all that way downtown on a school night, and I'd sat there too afraid to say something. Dad didn't say anything else, but a few minutes later we pulled into the parking lot of the bookstore. I hadn't even noticed we weren't driving home. Come on, Dad said. Clean yourself up now. Let's see if they have your book. Inside, I told the lady at the register the name of the book, and she knew it right away. A few minutes later, Dad bought me my very own copy of From the Mixed Up Files of Mrs. Basil E. Frankweiler. There you go, Dad said. Now, it doesn't matter whether you have a copy in the library or not. You've got one of your own. On the way home, I held the book in both hands in my lap. The cover was a little different from the one in the library, and the Newbery medal on the front wasn't real like the library one. It was just a picture of the medal, not a sticker you could run your fingers over and feel the bumps, even though the clear plastic cover. But that didn't matter, really. The book and the pictures inside were the same. I was glad to have my own copy, but I couldn't help thinking about the book that wasn't on the library shelves anymore, and how I would never have known From the Mixed Up Files of Mrs. Basil E. Frankweiler was my favorite book if I hadn't found it there in the first place. All right, that's the chapter, and I will read another chapter and send it to you later on today. Okay, have a great day, you guys.